So this will be my first road trip after being diagnosed with celiacs, and I thought after all the prep that I've done to actually work it out and work out what I need to take, I thought I'd just put it on video in case it can help other people to work out exactly how to do this. In our situation, we are doing a road trip. It's 3 weeks. I booked this before I knew that I had celiac, so we stayed in hotels the whole way. So I pretty much don't have any access to kitchens, and this is how I decided to get around it. First of all, just in terms of preparation of extras that I'd like to take, I've got all my fruit and avos. Always nice to add to any of the meals that I've made. Maybe I should actually start there and just say that I have made I've made a whole ton of meals. I've made these little chocolate brownie snacks, which are great to have each day when everyone else is having treats. You've got little snacks. I've made 30 meals in little things like this, in those little tinfoil things. I'm hoping that in some places I can maybe ask them to even heat it up for me. So the food that I've made is varied from things like shepherd's pie to fish cakes. I've also made these other kind of chocolate brownies. They are made with chocolate Rice Krispies or real brown rice cornflakes or brown rice, whatever they are. And yeah, so basically I've made 35 meals. I'll give you an example of some of the other things that I've got. I've got things like bean burgers. That's great to have with your avo, tomato. I can have goat's cheese, so I would have things like that with it. I've done my fish cakes, as I say. I also have a lovely veggie squares recipe, which is quite a nice change. It's just I don't want to always have slop for dinner, like the beans, tomato and mushroom curry stew or creamy stew, and your coconut veg curry. I've got green lentil dal. So basically what I've done over the last 2 weeks is every night I've made a meal. I've gone and put a couple away for me, and then every now and again each day I've gone and made some meals and been able to put those away for myself as well. So just to take the load off so that I wasn't doing it all last minute on the trip. Then this was our big purchase. We bought a fridge freezer. At the moment it's filled with other stuff while we just testing it out before we go on our trip. This one was called can you see that? A National Lunar Twin fridge and freezer. The great thing is it's got 2 settings, so you can actually set the whole thing to be a fridge or the whole thing to be a freezer, or have a fridge and a freezer side. I've still got a packet with all of our stuff. I was just nervous to put all of my meals in here before I knew that it was working correctly. But here's the space. You've got a freezer on the left and you've got the fridge on the right, but I've set the whole thing to freeze food. Additional extras that I've got in here, my goat cheeses that I can freeze and use as we go. This is pasta sauces, or I can also use it on a vegetarian pizza base. A gluten pizza base, and put the cheese on top, and that makes a nice, quick, easy meal as well. Quite a nice treat. And then you've got the freezer box side as well. And there I've also put in some goat's milk, which I can have. I quite like to make goat's milk milkshakes, which I just literally use goat's milk and cacao powder with some honey, which is delicious. Other really nice snacks that I found are these Eat Real hummus chips. They come in various flavors, and they're also celiac approved, so it's quite nice to have some chips or something when everyone else is having those kind of chips. And hot chocolate. My hot chocolate is a lovely coconut hot chocolate that I found at Wellness. I am based in South Africa, and we've got Wellness Warehouse where I get a lot of our products, but not always are all the gluten-free products definitely gluten-free. I also have found the only tin product that I can really use is this organic coconut milk. Quite nice to also add to shakes or to smoothies, and also to make Bircher muesli for the morning. So for the Bircher muesli, you can use something like your Scottish oats. This Scottish oats, everyone always goes, oh, oats, you can't do gluten-free. You can't do oats if you're gluten-free celiac, but this one is actually a celiac approved and I have tested it and it comes out time and time again as being absolutely fine for celiacs. What I plan to do in the hotel rooms is to cook with my electric frying pan. I've yet to use that, haven't used it yet. But so all my meals that I can cook just in a frying pan, I will just pop in there, and then I'm not taking a hot plate and all of those things as well. This is a lovely recipe book. This is the Living the Healthy Life by Jessica Spiel. I've used this time and time again for a lot of the those veggie chocolate squares, the Rice Krispies. You know, they've got lots of lovely treats in here, as well as great fish cake recipes, etc., etc. I never go away without my cacao powder in a tin. As I say, I can use that for chocolate milkshakes and things like that, which is just a nice treat when everyone else is having their treats. The bircher muesli, just going back to there, you soak the bircher muesli in the coconut milk overnight, and in the morning you just add in your grated apple. You've got seeds that you can add in. I have soaked these seeds already and then dehydrated them in the oven over a 24-hour period, just on a low temperature in the oven. You can add some coconut to that as well, some cinnamon and some nuts. So it's quite a nice meal to make for morning. So you soak it overnight just in the coconut milk and maybe the nuts if you want, and the next morning you just add your apples and the rest of the things that you want, and some honey. I never go away without my honey. I'm just finding this to be my favorite all-time honey. Thanks, Marianne Shearer. This is her raw honey, which also always shows up as celiac approved. Just in case, I can also ask somebody in the hotel to cook me maybe a baked potato or sweet potato or something. I'm taking some foil so that they can do that for me. For when there's 2 nights we're staying in a place with a kitchen, so I thought I was doing my pizzas then, and I've just got some baking paper to put on a tray of theirs if I need it. However, I am also going to take a tray for me. And then this is just a veggie steamer as well. I just thought that would be a nice, that's my husband and son's snacks. This would be a nice thing to do, to just steam veggies to go with any of the meals that I've made, like the fish cakes or the burgers and burger patties and things like that. And otherwise, great fillers for me are always your avos. Also, I use kimchi. Kimchi is great to have with your snacks as well, just to make your meals a little bit better. A great place to go to for that is Sexy Foods. Sexy Foods is in Cape Town, and they've got some lovely sauces in that as well that they use with the kimchi sauce and turmeric, so it's great for anti-inflammatory, and it's a lovely sauce just to add onto your burgers and fish cakes and that sort of thing as well. What I find quite handy is my little cooler box to take that with me, so that if I need to, I can just take my food into the restaurant, and when I meet other people. I always still find it harder to eat out of my little cooler box in a restaurant, but it's there if I need it. And also these little bowls, I don't think they're the greatest, but I ordered them from China. They're supposed to keep your food warm, but I don't really find that they do. If anyone else has got a better option for that, that would be awesome, because it would be nice to have food you can heat up and then take your little bowl to the restaurant. It would just make it a little bit easier. As I say, not the best quality. And I think that's all. Otherwise, it's just all the supplements and things that I'm on. I am finding that the magnesium to be really great at night to have, and the glutagenics. I find that really useful. And also my omegas. And yeah, I don't need to go through supplements. Everyone's is really their own. Another nice little thing to have is your ginger tea. Sometimes I'll just eat in the room and then just take a sachet of my ginger tea to the restaurant, and then I can just sit and drink my little ginger tea. In this case, I bought the extra strong. It's a bit too strong. Rather use just the instant honey ginger tea. It's a lot better. But another nice little snack that you can just take with you. So I hope you found that helpful, and off on our trip we go, and I'll certainly be blogging it along the way and letting you know how it goes and any tips that I pick up along the way. I'd love to know other people's tips too, so please share them all with me as you travel and move around as well. Thanks, bye.